Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. So, first of all, I want to say happy 2021 or 2022 to all of you. I hope all of you had a great New Year's. I also really hope that you guys had a great 2020 all over, or 2021 all around. Sorry if I'm stuttering quite a lot. I just woke up just a little while ago. I'm deciding to do a review of my 2021 Can-Am Outlander 850 XMR. Mostly because, well, it's raining right now. I mean, you can even see in the window that, you know, it has rained quite a lot last night. I was really hoping it stopped this morning so that way we can go to Tecumseh or something, but that didn't happen. So, whatever. Anyways, so I'm going to be doing this review in the garage, so, no big deal. So, I'm just going to kind of start with kind of the stuff that I did to it, and then, get to, the stuff that I like, some of the stuff I dislike, because there are a couple things that I dislike. And then we'll, give it a score. So, let's start with the upgrades. I'm going to start with kind of the obvious stuff. So, we got Outlaw Concepts, custom rad cover. We got Swamp Life, Can-Am. I actually do have a screen that goes underneath it here, but I had it made in sunburst yellow and not neo yellow, which is my mistake. So it doesn't match, which is why it's not on there. I also ended up getting the mud strap that comes on the Renegades, folded down a little bit so that way it doesn't block the screen. And then we also got Farm Muddings Chasing Halos. Right now I just have it set on the first one, which is why they're just kind of staying as the rainbow color. So we got that. Next we got Vinyl Status's custom sticker for, the channel name. That's got an Austin Cruiser sticker as well, and a Austin Cruiser keychain. I also got finally a little lanyard thing, and I attach it to the zip tie up here. That way, if the key goes flying off, I don't have to worry about it. We got RGWC custom shifter. I hate the little ball shifter because I have that's what I call it, because I have really small hands, so it's kind of a pain in the butt for me. So we have that. As you can see by the DynoJet sticker, we do have the DynoJet tune. I'm using tune file number 1 right now, mostly because, as described in the other video, we have the GSC Performance exhaust, which is my personal favorite exhaust for water riding because it has the smallest outlets and idling underwater is not an issue whatsoever. It also doesn't have any packing in the inside, and it never sounds bad at all after multiple rides worth of use being dunked underwater. In the back we have the KFI Tiger Tail. This is my third Tiger Tail overall, second for this machine. The other one got broken in the mudding competition because we just ended up hooking it up wrong and kind of breaking it, which is unfortunate, but it was also the first Tiger Tail I've ever actually physically broke, and I've had that other one for several years. So these things are really, really good quality. They're kind of a little bit on the pricey side, but that's okay. They definitely follow up in quality. And on the other side, you're not going to be able to see much because my garage isn't that big. We do have a, we redid the clutching, so we have a CV-Tech primary that are tuned for 31s, and we have a EPI red spring in the secondary. It still hasn't been on the ride with the EPI secondary, but I have taken it around the block multiple times and did a couple small little rips here and there, and it seems to definitely put the power to the ground and seems to hold up okay. It doesn't accelerate nearly as hard as it did before, but that's alright. It still holds up pretty good. Next we have the 29 29.5 by 8 by 14. You can see right there. Assassinators, same size tire all the way around. They actually measure out to be roughly about 28.5-ish, which is really, really disappointing. They don't actually come out to 29.5s. My Outlaws do. Over here on the side, these Outlaws, because these are the 29 by, I believe, by 9. Yeah, 29.5 by 9.5 by 14 Outlaw 2s, which is just the same tires that come on the high lifter, Polaris high lifters. Those are, true 29.5s. They actually almost measure 30s. So I'm actually gonna take after I take this bike to come to trails and see how it does in the booby trap. I'm gonna throw those tires on afterwards, because these tires, they do really, really good in swampy areas and clay areas where they can actually grab. But when you're just riding in like water where there is no mud to grab, these tires are not really that great. They tend to skate around on the trail quite a lot. Heck, I was able to do donuts on the asphalt with them. They don't grab whatsoever, and I'm not the biggest fan of that. So that's pretty much it for all the upgrades and stuff like that. As for the 850 motor itself, I like the 850 motor. I think it's a pretty good motor. It seems to hold up for what I needed to do. Does everything that I wanted to do anyways. And, so far I like the bike, Granted, there are things that a 570 can do, or even a 650 can do, that, can keep up with the 850, but, So, the things that I like about it, I like the power. Really, really nice power and the torque from the motor. I also really love these shocks. This is, one of the biggest things for me is the stock Outlander shocks are terrible. The Fox 1.5s, pretty good. They are very, very difficult to adjust preload. At least for me, mine are super, super stiff, and even with getting the machine off the ground, it's still really hard to adjust the preload. So mine rides a little stiffer than other people's, but I mean, that doesn't really bother me much. Plus, I want to get the max amount of lift out of it that I can. So you got that. Obviously, you have the XMR features themselves, which are very enjoyable. Where you got the rad up top, you got your snorkel and vent lines all brought up nice and high. I love the way the front bumper is set up. That's definitely one of my favorite things about the XMRs is they have this really nice front bumper that holds your rad, and it looks great. And same goes with the rear bumper, which is one thing you don't get on the 650. And even the 570s, you don't get a rear bumper like this, which not that big of a deal. You can add one, but it's just nice to have that stuff kind of come on the bike. I like the information screen. This is really definitely a jump up from previous years. It shows just all your information at once, and it's just awesome. I love being able to see, my RPMs, my clocks, what gear I'm in, how much fuel I got, engine temperature. You got your miles, and then you can switch your miles for your trips, stuff like that, which is, pretty sick. I like that. Just being able to see all that at once. I've always liked the way the new Riker gauges look, and this definitely follows that up. So I really appreciate that. Overall, that's pretty much about it for the likes. Dislikes, they're going to be a little bit different than what the 570 video was, because my biggest complaint about the 570 was those shocks are just absolute garbage. So, but here, the winch is not that good. So I have found that people have told me multiple times that the 850's winch and even the 1000's winches are not that good, and they are not wrong. They are absolutely right. This winch just totally sucks. I haven't burnt it up yet, but I know it's coming, because I'd go to pull myself out with it, and it just strains itself a lot harder than it should. You know, this is a 3,500 pound winch. It doesn't feel like it's 3,500 pounds. My Traveler 2,500 pound winch that I've been using for years on my other machines is, you know, it pulls harder than this does, which is not a good look. So I don't like that. I hate the floorboards. I absolutely despise these things because they don't clear, they don't filter any mud, period. And I still don't understand why Can-Am doesn't just take the accessory floorboards that they have, that they sell, and just add it to the XMRs alone. I think that'd make them a lot better. So that is one thing that I really don't appreciate. Another thing that I'm not really a big fan of is the rear rack. This rear rack I found is not really the most useful thing for both utility and for just extreme riding overall, because, you know, in terms of grabbing it, it doesn't feel terrible, and you have a good amount of grab points, but they're, you know, pretty sharp on the edges for the most part, so it doesn't feel very good on your hands trying to pull on it, especially compared to the L models, because the L models have that tubing that you can grab onto. And whereas this doesn't have that. If I want to get on the back here, I gotta kind of stick my feet. Luckily, I'm pretty small, but I can stick my feet in between these two just to get on the back rack to either pull into wheelies or getting on the sides just to, you know, shift my weight. But I tend to slip off of this quite a bit, you know, quite a few times. Whereas with the L models, I don't have that problem. In the rear, I actually forgot to drain this. This another complaint. This storage compartment. Yeah, you can already see why I don't like this. I did forget to clean it up, forget to drain it, but I mean, realistically, does it really matter? Because on the next ride, it's just going to be filled anyways. Now, I know a lot of people replace this gasket right here, and it's supposed to make it a little bit more waterproof, but as far as I know, you can't completely seal it like you could with an L model. So, I'm not really the biggest fan of that. And then the last thing is the stock clutching. Now, I did say that I like the way that the power is put to the ground, and I do. I love the way the power, you know, is delivered by the motor. However, the transmission and the clutching does not follow this. Mostly because, well, we tried to throw the Outlaw 2s on it, and they were 28s. This bike just couldn't spin them at all. It just couldn't do it. I mean, it was okay for a little while, and in very loose mud, it works pretty good. But the second that it starts getting really, really soupy, the bike just starts to bog down really, really hard, and the stock clutching just doesn't hold up. So, you know, which totally sucks. I really wish it would do a little bit better, but, you know, oh well, what it is. Then the last thing is the low gear. So a lot of people don't know about this, but this does not have the 1000 6x6 transmission. This doesn't have that, so you don't get the extra low range, which to me, I can see why they did it, because if they do that, then quite literally I don't think anyone would buy the 1000 in that case if this had the extra low range, because by logic, kind of like the same thing that Adventure This Way said in his video, talking about the you know, the 650 Renegade XMR with the you know, trying to decide in between that and the 850. Well, it's always better to go with the 850s because it's basically just better bang for your buck, and it is. But that is one small thing that, you know, kind of hangs it a little bit. So, which it is what it is. You know, unfortunately, but. So with that, that's pretty much all there is to say. I feel like I feel like this video wasn't terrible for first video of 2022, but 850 XMR, I really do like this bike. Quickly worked its way up to being one of my favorite bikes. I will say it does have a little bit of a weight problem because this bike is, you know, a little over 1,000 pounds without me on it, which is pretty crazy considering that, you know, the 650s and the 570s are, you know, 140 to 150 pounds lighter, which I don't think people realize the difference that makes. when you're going through mud. I mean, seriously, weight is a really big factor. A lot of people just don't consider it. So this thing is very, very heavy, so it needs the power to accommodate that. And sometimes the power just doesn't quite back up the fact of how heavy it is. You know, you can have a pickup truck with all the power in the world, but of course it's going to sink in the sand because of just how heavy it is, no matter how much power it has to turn the tires through it. And that's kind of the problem that the 1000s and the 850 suffer from, is they're so heavy to the point to where, you know, they just sink everywhere they go. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoy my honest review. You guys know me. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to say that, you know, this is good or that's good to try to influence you guys to subscribe or whatever. You know, I want to build a loyal fan base. I'd rather do that than do anything else. I'm not going to bend over for nobody. So overall, I think this is a good vehicle. I really do. I have no real issues with it. I've always been a big fan of Can-Am XMRs, period, mostly because, well, I'm a mud rider and not much of a trail rider. So yeah, anyways, make sure you like, subscribe, you know, all that garbage, of course. And I hope to, you know, come out with some pretty good videos in 2022. We'll just have to, you know, like I said, play it by the month, play it by year, and see how things go. So thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.